everybody, welcome to this week's video. Today I have two tutorials for you. Both are from the bargain bead box. One is March's bargain bead box and the other one is February's bargain bead box. Now both of these tutorials were requested by you guys, my subscribers, so I am happy to do them for you today. If you have other pieces that you would like to see me make, or you've seen something that you'd like to see me try, definitely let me know in the comment section below. I love your comments. You guys are absolutely amazing for keeping me motivated. I did get a comment, however, the other day about the last video I did, the donut wire wrapped pendant. Somebody said that it was a little bit dark and they couldn't really see, and when I went back and looked at the footage, I was like, yeah, that's not good. Those type of comments will help this channel improve and grow. I don't want you to be struggling in any way at all, so yes, definitely let me know. Okay, without further ado, let's get to this video. Okay guys, we are going to be doing this pendant here. This was featured in the March 2022 bargain bead box. Now, I kind of like to do videos sometimes like this because although you may have these same beads here, I do not have them now to make a second pendant. So it's kind of nice to see, you know, what you could do with putting different beads in place and still making the same pendant, but with a whole different look. So that's what we're gonna do. For this one here, this was number 19 on your list. This is a 12 by 9 millimeter crystal faceted oval bead. This was in the gray blue iris. Now you can use that. I'm gonna use this in its place. So this bead here is gonna go in the place of that one. They are a little bit longer, just slightly, but it will work out. The pressed glass cloud beads, these are 9 by 13 millimeter. These were number 1 on your list. I am going to use these in place of those because I don't have any more like that at all. So that's these ones here. Okay. Then I used the 8 by 6 millimeter crystal rondo beads. These are in sky blue. These are number 18 in your list. I'm going to use these crystals in place of that. Okay, so that's going to go right there. The 4 millimeter crystal bicones, these are in sky blue. I'm just going to use these ones here. And then the 4 millimeter faceted crystal round beads, these were in marine blue. These were 11 on your list, and I'm going to use these ones here. These are pretty close to that. They're just in a different color. And then the toggle clasp. And then I'm going to use the same 11-0 seed beads that I used for this. This one here is the dark blue, royal blue, and then the bronze colored seed beads, and then some antique copper chain to finish everything off. I'm going to clear this all off and we are going to get started. Okay, I'm using 6-pound fire line and a 11 size needle, and we're going to start off with the pondo stitch. Put 4 of the bronze if you're using bronze or whatever color you're using. I'm just going to go with my bronze. So putting 4 bronze on there, these are 11-0s. Take it all the way to the end of your thread. I'm going to leave about a foot of thread. I have enough to finish off, you know, and thread back in. I'm going to go through the first one. And pull it. And that's what that should look like. Now I'm going to add the second color, which is my royal blue. So I'm coming out of this bead. I'm going to go in this bead. I'm going to add another of the royal blue. Coming out of this bead, going in this bead. I find these two colors really complement each other quite well. Out of this bead, going into the next bead. Okay, then picking up my last in that color, the royal blue, going into this bead, coming out of this bead, going into this bead. And there we are with our first little square. I'm going to go up into the blue bead and I'm going to add 4 of the bronze to my needle. You're coming out of this side. I'm going to go into this side, so the opposite direction, the opposite side I mean. And this is where we are coming out of, right there. I'm going to go through the first the first bronze bead. And then add your royal blue. Add your next royal blue. So you're coming out of this bronze bead. I'm going to go into that one. And then add another royal blue. And we're coming out of this bead. And we're going to go into this bead. Now what I want to do is I want to go all the way around and get back to this blue bead here. So I'm going to go through this blue bead, then go through this bronze bead. You can go through all the beads if you want to. I'm just going to go through the bronze beads all the way around to the top here and go through that bronze bead and then the next blue bead right on this side here, because this is the one you want to be coming out of to add your next little square. And there you go. So I'll do that one more time for you. So add 4 of your bronze on there. Now we're coming out of this side. This is the threads coming out of this side here. We're going to go through this side. I'm going to go through the first bronze bead. I'm going to add my first royal blue bead, go through the next bronze bead. Repeat that 2 more times. Okay, coming out of this bronze bead, I'm going to go into this bronze bead. And now we're going to make our way around. Through the bronze beads, pull it tight, up this one, and then through that blue bead. We're going to do that one more time for you. I'm just going to bring you in a little bit closer. Just brought you in closer, and I'm going to do that one more time, just so you're sure of what I'm doing. Okay, I'm adding 4 of the 11 O's in bronze, coming out of this side, and go into this side. I'm going to turn it over because I work better this way. Okay, so I'm coming out of here. I'm going to put my needle through the first bronze bead. Okay, and then I'm going to add 1 of the royal blues coming out of this side of this bronze bead. I'm going to go into this side. And do that again, coming out of this bead, going into this bead. Coming out of this bead and going into the next bronze bead. And then make your way up the bronze beads. Now you can go, like I said, you can go through all of these if you want, but you don't have to. I'm just going to go through the bronze beads. And then through that bronze bead and that blue bead to set yourself for the next little square. And there you have 4 done. So for the pattern, you need to do 38 of these little squares. So continue that all the way till you have 38 of these done, and I will meet you back here to continue. Okay, you guys, I have 38 squares done on my pondo stitch here. So we are ready for the next step. Okay, you are coming out of this bead here. We're going to go down 1 bronze, 1 bronze, and then 1 royal blue. Okay, and then we're going to flip it over and we are ready to add our beads. Okay. For the first sequence, we're going to add 3 11-ohs. We're going to add 1 of the crystals. One 11-oh. And then 1 of these beads here. Just for reference, we're going to check and see how big this bead actually is. So this is an 11 millimeter bead. Now I'm going to add this bead. This will be in place of the pressed glass cloud beads, since I don't have any more like that. Okay. And then we're going to put 3 more 11-ohs on the needle. I'm going to go back through the bottom of that 11 millimeter. Pull it back up through the 11-oh, through the crystal, then add 3 more 11-ohs to your needle, and you go through the next blue 11-oh. And that's what it should look like. Okay, so you leave that space in there. Then thread on one of your smaller bicones and thread your needle through the next royal blue seed bead. Then thread on 7 11-ohs, 1 4mm bicone, another 7 11-ohs, your big bead, and 3 11-ohs. And then take your needle and go back up through all those beads again. Pulling everything tight. And when you go up through this section here, leave these 2, do not go through these 2. So I'm going to put my needle through all the beads except for the last 2. Then add 2 11-ohs and go through the next blue seed bead. Then add your 4mm bicone or your faceted round bead. Then add 3 11-ohs, your crystal, your 1 11-oh. This is an 11mm bead, so add this or your pressed glass cloud bead, and then 3 11-ohs, and then go back up, missing the 3 11-ohs, go back up through all the beads to the crystal, and then add 3 11-ohs, go through the next blue 11-oh, your bicone or faceted bead. Go through the next blue bead. And you continue across with the same pattern. So here you'll put this one and then one faceted bead or bicone. Here put this one, and so on and so forth all the way across until you get to the other side. So I'm going to finish this off and get to the other side, and I'll meet you back here when I get there and we'll continue. Okay, I've gone all the way across to here. So I'm coming out this side. I'm going to take my thread and go back around this way and go all the way around. So I'm coming out of this side of the blue bead. To head in this direction to add the rest of my beads. What we're going to do is put little bicones here. Okay, right there. So now that I'm coming out of this bead, I'm going to take my first bicone and I'm going to take a blue one, same as I used here. Add the blue one there. Go through this blue one, this bicone or faceted bead, this blue bead. At this point, you can either go down around here like that or up through here. Now, if you go this way, it might actually be a little bit easier. There's only one thread through these beads. These beads here, there's a couple of threads because you've got the pondo that you did first plus beading through all these other beads. So this one is going to be a little bit tighter. So I'm going to opt to go through the bottom part. The bottom beads, like I said, they are less likely to be, it's less likely that you're going to get stuck in these ones, okay? So up through there, like that. And then through this blue bead, through the next faceted bead, and through the next blue bead. Then thread on your next bead. Same color as you did before, and then repeat that. Go through the next blue 11-0, through the faceted bead, go down those two beads, go up the other two beads, through that 11-0, the blue 11-0, the next faceted bead or bicone, if that's what you put there. And the next blue 11-0. And then add your next bead. So basically what you're doing is you're adding your bicones above this section of beads here, this sequence of beads here. So the blue, you bypass this one, go all the way across, and you add your next one on top of this section. Then go all the way across, down here, across, and then add your bead here on this section. So do like that all the way across, and I will meet you at the other end. Okay, we are done the pendant. Now I'm going to add the chain with the loops that I do. I'm going to have a close-up and show you how I add the loops because somebody had asked about that, so I want to do that for you. So we're going to do that right now. I always use 21 gauge half round wire to add my loops. So I normally cut off about a piece that is 2.5 to 3 inches long. You don't need really big pieces to do this. And we're gonna start with this side here first. Okay, so what I did on my first pendant that I did is I took this blue bead, the very last top blue bead, so 11/0 seed bead, and I put my 21 gauge wire through it, about halfway through. So you're sitting like that, okay? And then just bent it up. Like that. Now I'm going to take my round nose pliers. Now these ones here, if you've watched any of my other videos, you know that they're marked already. So there's a mark there, there's 4 marks on here. I'm going to go with my smallest mark, which will be right about there. I'm going to bend it over. So I'm going to move my pliers so that they sit up like this. And then bend this around. Move your pliers, bend it around like this until your wire is sitting facing that way behind your pliers. Then you just take your you just take the wire and you start making little loops like so. You can make as many loops as you want. You don't want to make too many. I usually make about 2 to 3 loops. Like that. Now I'm going to cut flush. Okay, I'm going to put these back in here. Just take my flat nose pliers now. And I'm going to flatten those wires. And there's the first loop done. The nice thing about the 21 gauge half round wire is that that does fit through the 11/0 seed beads. So you can make a very solid loop. It's not going to come apart. So again, I'm going to cut another 3-inch piece, 2.5 to 3-inch piece off there. Now this one is going to be a little bit different because I want to add my chain. So I'm going to add my chain. First thing I'm going to do is make a little loop. I'm going to try to guesstimate where the middle is, pretty close. And then I'm going to take my fingers and bring it around like that. So I've got a little loop there. Now I'm going to take one side of this looped wire, my chain. I've left my chain on its bobbin. I'm going to pull it up so it sits in the loop. Now I want to add a little embellishment bead, which is what I did to the last pendant. So I'm going to put one of these on there. Okay, so you're just going to push it in there. I'm going to push it in there right to the bottom. Okay. I'm going to take my round nose pliers. And then same as I did before, right at the last mark that I have, push it over. Then move your pliers so that they sit like that. Then bring this over like that. Make your loop. Move your pliers as you need to stay out of your own way. And then pull back past your little bead there. So pull back. Now, what we're going to do first, before we finish it off, before we loop it around, is we're going to add this, pull it into the other loop, the chain side loop. Okay, so it sits like that. Now you can either put this back in here if you're more comfortable up that way, like that. And I'm going to bring the loop around. I'm going to bring these wires around to create the swirls. I'm going to bring my wire around 2 times, 3 if you want to, but I'm going to do it twice. I'm going to cut the wire off flush with bead. I'm just going to take my flat nose pliers and I'm going to flatten and go around just to flatten these ends out so they are hidden and won't be felt by the wearer, because you don't want to be making pieces that are scratching other people. So just go slow with this part. Like what I'm doing here, I just ever so slightly. There. And if you find that it's still sticking up a little bit, continue. Press a little bit. There. Now if you've created your loop and added your chain. So now do the same thing to the other side and we'll be right back. You guys, we're going to be doing this bracelet today. This is from the Amethyst Elegance collection. From the collection, you use the 8x6mm crystal rondo beads in Slate Peacock. That is number 8. We're going to be using these ones today. These are 8x6mm beads. These are from River Crystal beads. They are blue with a little bit of fuchsia in them. I don't know if you can see it under this lighting, but they are really pretty. So yeah, these are going to be used in place of your number 8 in your collection. And we're going to be using these in place of number 18. Now, number 18 was a 3mm finely faceted natural amethyst beads. These ones are 3mm finely faceted beads, but they are in food ball. They are from PotomacBeads.com. So we're going to be using those today. In between these big crystals here, I used the 3mm finely faceted natural amethyst beads. I'm going to be either using these ones or these ones. I'm not really sure. These ones I got from PotomacBeads.com and they are in the color turquoise. And then these ones are square. I'm sorry, I don't know where I've gotten these, but they're about 3mm as well, but they're actually a square bead and they're really pretty. If I do find them, I will leave them down in the description box below for you. and I will have a look and see if I can find them, but aren't they cute? I'm not sure if they're gonna look good on this bracelet, but we will try. We'll see between the two. We'll figure it out. And then 6-pound fire line in crystal. Yeah, I'm starting to run out. I've got more. Your 10 or 11 beading needle. And then I have two different clasps here. The symbol magnetic clasp and then this tubular clasp. I'm not really sure which one I'm gonna use. This is the one I used for the bracelet. And then I'm using 11 seed beads in two different colors, and then the 50 seed beads that closely matches this color here. This one says it's galvanized silver. This one here is a little bit darker. I don't think these are galvanized silver, but these closely match each other, so I'm going to use those two. And then this one here I bought from Eureka Crystal Beads, and these ones are in Crystal Berry. And the reason I picked this tone here in seed bead is because these beads here have a little bit of the same tone as this. I think it's hard to see. I don't know if you can see that under this lighting, but it does match. They do match this coloring here. So we're going to use that today. I'm going to clear this all off and we are going to get started. Using your 11 seed beads, put 4 of the one color on there. I'm going to use my silvery gold beads first. We are all the way to the bottom. I'm going to go through and create my little loop. And as you can see, I've created a loop. Now I'm just going to go through the first bead. And pull it tight, and this is what it will look like. Now just add your other color. Coming out of this bead, go through this bead. Add the second bead. You're coming out of this bead, go into the next bead. That is such a beautiful color. I gotta get some more of these, so pretty. You're coming out of this bead, go into the next bead. Last one. Coming out of this bead, go into this last bead. And then go into the next bead. So the next color, the next opposite color. Now you should be sitting right on top of this bead here. And then we're ready to add our next sequence of beads. So 4 beads. So you're coming out of this side. You want to go into the opposite side. Okay, I'm going to turn this over. It's just easier for me to work this way. Go through the first bead, and then add your other color. Coming out of this bead, go into this bead. And do that all the way around. Add your different colored bead. Coming out of this one, go into this one. Do that again. Coming out of this bead, go into this bead. I'm going to go through the silvery gold colored beads only to make it up to the top here. Okay, so we're going to go through there. Now you have your second one done. Now what you want to do is you want to make 29 of each of these little squares, and you need to make 2 pieces. So follow that design all the way down. Make sure there's 29 of these. Make 2 of them, and when you're done that, I'll meet you back here and we'll continue. Okay, I've got 2 pieces done. 2 pieces, 29 squares long. Now what you want to do is just make sure that your thread that you come up around here and you're on this side of this very first bead here. And then we're going to add our 3mm faceted crystals, and that will be number 18 in your collection if you're using those beads. And what you're going to do is you're going to take your 3mm faceted crystal and you're just going to bring it through each of these 11-ohs, just like that. So basically what you're doing is just filling in these little holes. And then go in the next one. And what you're going to do is you're going to go all the way across just on the one side. So you can see on the other one I did already. Just on the one side. So go all the way across with your beads, with your crystal beads, and I will meet you when you get to this section here, when you get to here with your last bead. Okay, so I finished my 2 sections of the bracelet. Our next step is we're going to take the 11-ohs and 15-ohs in the gold silver color, and we're going to start adding our bigger beads. So we're going to add the big crystals. I'll grab a couple here. We're going to add the big crystals, so these here. So we're going to start with one side first. So just set one aside, and we're going to start with this one first. So what I've done is I've tied off all my loose ends. I had 2 actually threads, so I tied them all off. I have put a new piece of thread on my needle. I've added a new piece of thread, and now you should be sitting on this side of this bead here, this one here, whatever color you used for that. So I've added 3 to my thread. I'm going to put one of the crystals on there. Now I've added 2 11-ohs and 3 15-ohs. I'm going to bypass this crystal, and go into the next 11-oh. So that's my little pink 11-oh. Like that. Then do the same thing again. 3 15-ohs, 2 11-ohs. Add one of your crystals. And then 2 11-ohs and 3 15-ohs. And then bypass 2 of the crystals and go into the next 11-oh, pink 11-oh. And what you want is you want the 15-ohs to be close to this band, and you want your 11-ohs to be close to your crystals. Okay? All right, I'm going to do that one more time for you. You're going to add 3 15-ohs, 2 11-ohs, your crystal, then 2 11-ohs and 3 15-ohs. Bypass this crystal and go into the next 11-oh. So right there. And this is what it should be looking like right now. Again, on your needle, 3 15-ohs, 2 11-ohs, your crystal, 2 11-ohs, and 3 15-ohs. You're coming out of this pink one, you're going to bypass these 2 crystals and go into the next pink one, pink 11-oh. And you can see what's happening here. Now go all the way to the end of this band. You get to here, and I will meet you back here, and we'll turn around and we'll continue. I've done this row of adding my big crystals. Now you should be sitting right here, right on this side of this bead here, this one. Now we're going to go up Sorry if you hear that wind. Okay, now I'm sitting here, right on this bead, this side of this bead. So what I've decided to do is stick with the original design and use one of these endings. So I'm going to have this side first. Now to fit me, I put 18 11/0 seed beads on the end. Now you might want to add some or take a little bit off there depending on what size your wrist is. My wrist is medium size, so 18 will do. So you add those on like that. We're going to go through the tube clasp, and then we're going to go back down all of those 18 11/0 seed beads. Okay, right to the other side. Now we're going to go back through these beads here because we want to end up right here. So I'm going to go through all these beads. And the 3 15/0s and the 2 11/0s next to the crystal. Pull it tight. Okay, so I put on another 18 11/0s. Go through your middle loop on your tube clasp. And then back down your 18 11/0s right to your crystal. Pull it tight. Now we're going to add this piece here. So 2 11/0s, 3 15/0s. Take your other piece, your other section, and go in through this way. Adding your other piece, and take your needle and go through the next 2 15/0s. So now your bracelet is sitting like that, and you were coming out this side of this bead here. And now you're going to add another 18 11/0 seed beads, 18 on there. You're going to go through the last loop of your tube clasp, and then back down through those 11/0s, all the way down through all 18. Right, I'm going to go through these beads because I want to get back to this point here. So I'm going to go through all the middle 11/0s in the first little square. So you come through there. So you're coming out of here. I'm going to go back up these beads here. So the 3 15/0s and the 2 11/0s. And this is where you should be sitting, right here. Go through your crystal. And now we're going to start adding the beads to attach this piece. So you want to add two 11-0s and the 350-0s. Bypass these two crystals and go into the next 11-0 seed bead. Just keep it nice and tight. Then you add 3 50-0s, 3 50-0s, and 2 11-0s, and you go back up through the next crystal, so on this side here. So you always want your bigger beads sitting up against the crystals. Two 11-0s, 3 50-0s. Now you're going to go down, you're going to bypass those two crystals and go into the next 11-0 seed bead. Pull it tight, and there it's starting to come together. So just make sure that your bigger beads, your 2 11-0s, are right up against your crystal, and then the 3 50-0s are up against this band here. So continue to add your crystals the same way, go all the way to the other side, and when we get to here, we will continue. Okay, I'm at the other end after adding all my crystals. All right, so I'm sitting on this side of the last crystal. So I'm going to add my 2 11-0s, my 3 50-0s. And I'm just going to turn my work around here because it's just easier for me. Okay, so I've turned my work around here, sorry. So I want to make my way up here and go through this seed bead here. And then this seed bead. So you should be sitting on this side, on this seed bead, on that side. All right, then you're going to repeat the same step as you did the last time. We're going to add the other side of our tube clasp. So just make sure that the bottom part of this tube clasp is the opposite to the other one. So as you can see, the other one is sitting like this. When you lay the bracelet out, this piece is at the top. You want this little piece at the bottom. And then you're going to repeat the steps that you did on the other side. So for me, again, it's going to be 18 seed beads. All right, 18. I'm going to go up through the first little loop on the tube clasp, go down, all of the 18 seed beads. Then we're going to go through that seed bead again, that pink one. A little bit tight in there. And then down through the sequence of beads, so the 3 50-0s and the 2 11-0s. Right, another 18. Then down all of those 18 seed beads. Then we're going to go through this sequence of beads. And then through that last seed bead right here. Then you're sitting on this side of this last seed bead and add your last 18 11-0s. So there's my last 18 through the last loop on the tube clasp, and then back down all of those 18. And I have to tie off. I don't have much thread left, so I'm going to tie off here, and then we are going to continue. All right, I was going to add these beautiful little square beads, but honestly, there's so much of the same color in there, and these are 3-tone beads, a couple of different colors in each one of them, and there's just so much going on here for color that I thought it's not going to be enough of a contrast for beads like this. So I decided to go with the blue one. So that's these ones here. So I'm going to add these to the middle here. Alright, I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope the tutorials were easy to follow along. Like I said in the intro, please let me know if you have any issues at all. I'm here to make your watching experience comfortable and very easy to follow. If you have subscribed to my channel, I just wanted to say a huge thank you. We are over 1,000 subscribers. Really excited about that. I know it's small moves and there's a lot of huge YouTubers out there, but for me, it's a big step. I was really excited to see that the positivity and creativity of this channel is interesting and it is growing. I love it. Don't forget to like this video, of course, if you did like this video, and hit that notification bell as well, because I have more videos upcoming and I'm still waiting for April's bargain bead box. That doesn't usually come until the end of the month. So when it does, I will get that video up for you. You guys have a great day, great week, and I hope to see you back here for my next one. Have a good one, guys. Bye.